Jono Naylor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I've got to say it is fantastic to be associated with a government that is assisting New Zealand families to get ahead, that we're doing better and there's more on the plate that's coming. Mr. Speaker, on April the 1st, we're going to see parental leave increased by a further 2 weeks. This is great news for families. We're going to see on April the 1st again the parental tax credit for low-income families increase from $150 to $220. More great news for families. The Home Start scheme is going to be up and running, and we're going to see more and more first home buyers being able to access the market. Mr. Speaker, we're going to see free doctors' visits extended, not just for those who are under 6, but for those who are under 13 years of age. Mr. Speaker, this is great news for New Zealand families. This is great news for our country, because we build on our successes of the past and continue to do more. This is not a government that has run out of steam, Mr. Speaker. This is a government that's got energy. This is a government that's got vision. And this is a government that wants the very best for New Zealand families. And while we're making great progress in these social areas and in terms of our assistance that we're directly providing to families, there is more that we can do, and there is more that we are going to do, particularly to empower families to be able to provide for themselves, because that is ultimately the outcome we want to see. And Mr. Speaker, we're going to do this by continuing to grow the economy. Mr. Speaker, we're going to continue to do this by growing jobs, and we've got a good record over the last little while in that. And that is something that is happening right across New Zealand. I hear constantly from the other side of the House, Mr. Speaker, people talking about a two-speed economy where if you're not in Auckland or in Christchurch, then you're forgotten. Well, Mr. Speaker, the regions of New Zealand have not been forgotten. The regions very, very well, and we see the recent growth statistics that have come out about regional development in New Zealand, and we see that things are going incredibly well, things are growing at a greater rate, and we're in good shape. Mr. Speaker, though, if we are going to continue to grow the economy in the regions, it does take a little bit of extra effort. And over recent times, we've seen that extra effort go into regional growth studies that have been occurring right across different parts of New Zealand, particularly so far in the Bay of Plenty, in Northland, and also in the Manawatu-Wanganui area where I come from. And Mr. Speaker, these regional growth studies are working very hard to identify particular areas that will be great opportunities for those particular regions. I know that in Palmerston North in particular, in the Manawatu, we know some of the things that we do better than pretty much anyone else in the country, and we're developing and working alongside this regional growth study to enhance those opportunities further. We're seeing great expansion in the area of food research and development, and with the help of the government through NZTE in cooperation with local authorities, Mr. Speaker, we are starting to see more jobs grow in our region in this area. Mr. Speaker, we've been able to attract overseas companies to come and set up in the Manawatu, creating more jobs for locals. We are seeing New Zealand companies like New Zealand Pharmaceuticals who are expanding their operations, they're exporting more, and the region is going to do better as well because of it. Mr. Speaker, we are also the best place in New Zealand in the Manawatu to operate logistics type operations out of. And the investment that this government is putting into the Mackay's to Peka Peka diversion around Waikanai and Paraparaumu is well on the way, and is going to increase the connectivity between the Manawatu and Wellington. Transmission Gully is not too far away either, and these particular roading projects are absolutely connecting the region that I live in to the capital city of Wellington, and we know is going to have good payoffs for us in this region, and something that we will be very proud of. Also, Mr. Speaker, in terms of regional roading funding, the Foxton Trestle Bridge is also due for an upgrade. It's unfortunate at the moment it's unable to take those high productivity vehicles along it, but Mr. Speaker, when that's done up, we're going to see more the high productivity from the produce that's grown right around New Zealand, getting better access to the markets. Mr. Speaker, I want to finish by reiterating again, this is a government that is going forward. This is a government that is very keen and committed to growing jobs, growing the economy, and seeing better outcomes for New Zealand families.
The time for this debate has expired. I call on Government Orders of the Day number 1 to